Hi, hello, 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 hello. Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet again another vlog. Wow. So it's been a long time since I've had a sit down video like this, and that's because I'm back with another study tips video. Hi, hello, hello everyone. It's me, Kzzye Francyne, and welcome back to yet again another video. For today, I am so excited to be sharing another study tips with you guys, but this time, this is an updated version of the study tips and tricks that helped me all throughout my freshman year. Just a quick disclaimer, all of the tips and tricks that I'll be sharing with you are all based on my experience, so it's definitely up to you whether you want to use them or not. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So these study tips will mainly revolve around academics, how I balance my workload, and what are the coping mechanisms and productivity apps that I use and do for me to stay sane. These tips mainly revolve around academics, how I stay balanced, organized all of my workload, my schedule, and some productivity apps that I use, which are all for free by the way, to help you and guide you with your academic tasks. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Tip number 1 is staying organized. I've said this before and I'll say it 1,000 times again, write a to-do list. Writing a to-do list helps me as someone na medyo limtanon, medyo makakalimutin, to remember and keep track of all of the things that I need to do within the day. So what I like to do is that every day I grab a piece of paper. Usually it's just my sticky notes, and then I write down my to-do list for the day. Doing so will help me remember all of the things that I need to do within the day, whether it be I have quizzes, exams, or just some personal errands that I need to do. Also, this is completely optional, but having a planner also helps. So this is my planner. I write down all of my personal and academic to-do lists here. So in my planner, it already has yearly, monthly, and weekly spreads, which is really helpful for me because for my yearly spreads, I get to have my own mini calendar and check what are the important dates that I need to take note of, to mark if there are any events that I need to attend to. For the monthly planner naman, that's where I usually take down notes of my exams, important quizzes, reporting. And for my weekly planner, that's where I write my everyday to-do list. So this is what the yearly spread looks like. It has a calendar of the present year. Now, I don't really use this page. What I like to use is the monthly and the weekly planners. So for the monthly planner, as you can see, here I write down some important dates, some of the exams, some events in our campus, sometimes even my family and friends' birthdays, and also if I like some cute little notes that will help me get through the month. Also, color coding your events and your tasks will help you better organize them more so that you can see what are your priorities. As for my weekly planner, the left side usually consists of my everyday to-do list, academic-wise, while the right side consists of an overview of all of my general to-do lists per course. So that's what goes on in my planner and how my system usually works when it comes to to-do lists and organizing my things and my schedule. If you have further questions or if you want me to elaborate more about my to-do list system, let me know and I'll answer your questions in the comment section. Second tip is Google Calendar. When it comes to organizing stuff, Google Calendar is your best friend. What I like about Google Calendar is that I can use it for time blocking and it also notifies me of the events and the activities that I have for the day. So I believe that every academic year, your school will usually release an academic calendar. So what I like to do before the semester starts is that I input all of the important dates in my Google Calendar. That includes enrollment period, holidays, breaks, more holidays, when does the classes start, when does the classes end. And I figured that by doing so, it helps me keep track of every major event in the campus, and I have them all laid out in my calendar. Also, Google Calendar, when it's connected to your Google Classroom, will also be notified of the activities that your professors assign, and you would be able to track them better. So, I'm gonna show you how I use Google Calendar. So this is a general overview of what my Google Calendar looks like. So if you can see on the upper right corner, there is the settings button. And there I just add calendar, and for each course I create a new calendar and I just label it whatever the course code is. And then I also like to color code each of my courses, wherein when you go back to the main layout, you will see them on the left side. And with these three dots, you can actually see an array of colors that you can assign per course. And right over here, I am just showing you an example of what my time blocking looks like using Google Calendar. Google Calendar also offers you some options wherein you can view it in day mode, in month mode, in year mode, but usually I just like it in its weekly layout. So now that we're done with Google Calendar, let's proceed to Google Drive. Google Drive is also one of the best apps that you could possibly use for staying organized. So as you can see here, I have my folders. So this is how my Google Drive looks like. It has two main folders, my main files and my trackers. For my main files, here we have my subfolder which I labeled first year, and inside that folder are another subfolders which I use per semester. Inside that are my courses that I took for that specific semester, and as you can see, they are all color coded. Each folder for my course basically includes my notes, my reporting notes, and my final paper. I also included here another subfolder for my activities, basically all of the requirements that I submit for that particular course. And for my trackers folder, there you will see some Google Sheets that help me track my homeworks per course, as well as calculate or compute my grades. Also, as you can see, each folder has a designated color. Now, what I like to do is before the semester starts, each course receive their designated color. And for all of my files, all of the things that I do to stay organized, I use that color. So the courses that you've seen listed in my planner earlier, the color codes for those are the ones that I also assigned here in my Google Drive, and the one that I have also assigned in my Google Calendar. Now, those are some of the main things that I do in staying organized. So on to my next step, read the syllabus. I believe that in the first week of your classes, professors are likely to hand you the syllabus that you will be using for the rest of the semester. I suggest that you read that because the syllabus is your guide on the activities that you will be doing, presentations that you will be doing, because usually the professors include the rubric, criteria for grading. Criteria for grading? Di ba criteria for judging? It also includes the grading system for that specific course. Basically, everything that you need for all the activities and all the work that you will be doing in that particular course. You have to write papers. It also includes the specific format that your professor would like for you to use. So, read the syllabus. My next step is to do your readings. Doing your readings and doing an advanced reading of your readings will also really help you. Now, I'm gonna have to be very honest with you guys. I am still working on that because sometimes I cannot finish all of my readings, Jod. Pero I'm working on that, and Because basically during lectures, the professors are likely to just summarize all the main points in the reading. So in relation to doing your readings, this leads me to my next tip, is to take down your notes. Taking down notes will really help you digest and summarize the lessons that are being discussed to you by your professors in the best way you can. Down notes, some professors actually allow you to bring gadgets in class. So if you'd like, you can bring your phone or your laptop in class and you can use that to take down your notes if your professor permits. I think that's an efficient way for you to take down notes given that it saves time. Personally, I'm still working on my note-taking system, but right now I have my digital notes and my handwritten notes. So let me break down my note-taking system for you guys. First, my digital notes. So mainly comes from the readings that have been provided by my professors. So when I do my readings, I like to create a Google Doc, a separate Google Doc. That's where I write all of the topics, all of the main points or key points in the readings. And I also write down my own examples and my own understanding of the text so that, which leads me to my next note-taking process, which is the handwritten notes, so that when I arrive in lectures and the professor already discusses the lesson of the day, I write down the main points from the PowerPoint presentation that the professor has provided. I write down the main discussion points that my professor has emphasized in my notebook. And when I get home, I can just check my handwritten notes and compare it to the notes that I've taken before and after a lecture. Now, that sounds like a lot of tedious work, which is why I don't do it all the time. But when I do, it really helps. So you should try that out too. Now, when we're talking about note-taking process, this one is optional, but whenever I go to class, I bring around a small notepad with me. It's a notepad that I'm planning to use for the next semester. I just got this from my mom. Added a little sticker here. Now, what I do with the notepad is that there are some words that I do not understand during lectures, terminologies that I'm not familiar with. So what I do is I write them down in the notepad and I search for the meaning of those words after. You don't necessarily need to have a notepad. You can just make small sections in your notebook, or you can dedicate a special page in your notebook where you write down those words. So that's my note-taking process. Now let's proceed to my next tip. Quizlet. Quizlet is basically a free app or a free website wherein you can create folders, you can create flashcard sets that you can use to elevate your studying or to do active recall. So I've been using Quizlet since junior high, and I tell you, it has been a game changer for me. Now, on to my next step is use study methods. Now, I'll be sharing with you guys my top 3 study methods that has helped me retain information a lot better. So first are mnemonics. I usually use mnemonics when I know there is a possibility of enumeration type of questions in my upcoming quizzes or in my upcoming tests. So mnemonics definitely helps me to remember things a lot better. And some people would say that the crazier in mnemonic, then the better you will remember it. Another study method that I do is active recall. I usually use Quizlet to do active recall using flashcards. And finally, the most effective study method for me is to discuss the lesson to yourself as if you're talking to a 5-year-old. So basically what I do is just I take my own understanding of the text, of the readings, of the lesson, and I simplify it and I break it down into simpler pieces. I discuss it to myself as if I'm a 5-year-old. It just helps me to have a better grasp and a better understanding of the lesson when I simplify it. So those are the top 3 study methods that are really helpful for me, and let me know if it also works for you. So that's it. That was a long one, but I hope that you were able to take down note of some of the tips that I said, and I hope that you would also be able to apply them. I hope that they works for you, and I hope that they would be able to help you in your academic journey. And if you do have any other questions or clarifications, you can go ahead and send me a private message, or you can go ahead and comment down. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I truly wish you all the best in your academic journey. I truly believe that university life is a time to expand, make friends, branch out, build connections. There's still a lot of things to learn, a lot of people to meet, and more opportunities for growth. So let's just take it one day, one step at a time, and just keep going and keep growing. Thank you for watching. Bye.